Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Art of Sherlock Holmes, another artist interview and a very special one today. So we're interviewing Niz for the second volume. So this is the USA-wide edition, volume 1. So hi, Niz, where are you dialing in from?
Hi, I'm dialing in from Austin, Texas.
Fantastic. And what's the weather like in Texas at the moment?
It's up and down all the time, but right now it's like 70 degrees out.
Okay, and sun?
It's a little cloudy.
Okay, well, we've got beautiful sunshine in London, which is a bit unusual. So I always wear my West Palm Beach t-shirt for these interviews because in the early interviews, it was always raining and cold outside. So I got myself into the mood of talking about nice warm places. So does it get hot in Austin? Does it get really hot in the summer?
It gets really hot, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's jump straight into your art. This is a lovely piece, and you were telling me before, this is quite recent?
Yeah, I painted it in, I think, late November in San Antonio for a graffiti festival.
Fantastic, and it's on a wall, so it's quite a big piece?
It's on a wall, yeah. I think it's around, I want to say 10 by 8 feet.
Wow. That's huge. I mean, most of the art that we see from the artists in the Art of Sherlock Holmes project is canvases or it's sometimes a large canvas, but a lot of your work is murals on walls. And this is a gorgeous piece. And you were telling me here, tell me about the different animals and the themes here.
So you have a fox on her head, and then you have some owl wings. And then basically the whole idea behind this piece was the idea of having the wisdom to move through things sort of swiftly, you know, like a fox.
Fantastic. And where is the piece?
The piece is at a place called the Parlor Room. It's on Rainy Street here in Austin, Texas.
And that sounds like a bar.
It is a bar.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And did you, the lady that's in the picture?
Yeah.
Is she somebody you know, or?
She's an acquaintance of mine who is from the Austin area, but she's a model in LA. And I've used her in a few of my pieces. Her name is Kelsey Smebby. And
okay.
Yeah, she's a great model. She translates really well into stencil.
Yeah, it's a really mesmerizing piece, and again, looks quite a big piece too.
It's pretty big. I think it's about 8 feet tall. I think it might be around 12 feet wide, but this is only a portion of the wall. So the whole wall is around 25 feet. There's like a unicorn with pink hair to the left of her. And yeah, it's in a really nice courtyard. There's grass on the rest of the wall.
I can imagine this piece in particular would do brilliant in canvases and prints.
Oh yeah, it's
gorgeous. Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this one. This has got a very unusual story behind it.
It does, yeah. So I did this one in Isla Mujeres at an abandoned hotel on the beach, and it was part of a community project that some people there called Proyecto Rescate we're working on in order to sort of like help local people stay on the island. You know, it's getting like really gentrified, just like a lot of other places all over the world. And so the theme on this one was more about preserving the ocean, particularly in places that are heavily touristed. So this one is in a courtyard of a hotel that hasn't been functioning for a while, and it got shut down. And a lot of the murals that were painted at this hotel were painted over, but I don't know that this one got painted over. So I'm going to go find out in a month or so.
And that's octopus hair.
It's like sort of like the Medusa style theme, but more of like she's supposed to be like a coral ocean spirit. So I did this one first in full color, and then I did a second one on canvas where she looks kind of bleached out, and it's the whole idea of the coral reefs sort of getting damaged because of like a lack of care for the ocean.
And what does what are the words at the bottom mean?
It's no me dejes caer. It means don't let me fall.
Oh, that's quite a moving thing, I guess. There's a lot around the preservation of the oceans at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And this piece, again, incredibly different. This looks, judging by the size of the window there, this looks like quite a large piece.
I think Tupac is 6 or 7 feet tall. The wall itself is around 10 feet tall. So yeah, I think it's like 10 by 10. I think it's perfect 10 by 10. And
what inspired this piece?
I love Tupac.
that was enough, yeah?
Yeah, I love Tupac.
I love Tupac.
He was one of my first paintings on canvas was Tupac around 9 or 10 years ago. And so I just, it was time to paint him again. And I painted him here in Austin, Texas, where I also love hip hop music. And so it's kind of a way of keeping that scene alive here because it's not the most popular music here. So a lot of people do love it, but yeah, I painted it on a very high traffic street, where it was going to get a lot of attention. And it's a street that I drive down all the time, so it's something I wanted to look at when I drove down the street.
That's pretty awesome. So in the first edition, the West Palm Beach edition, which we'll talk about in a moment, there are a bunch of mural artists in that edition as well, and it's been wonderful to see their art and talk to them in these interviews. So let's jump on to the Art of Sherlock Holmes. So this is the USA edition. So this comes out in the fall, conceived and curated by Phil Groig. So Phil's a 2-time Sherlock Holmes novelist in his own right, and he has a story in the West Palm Beach edition. And he's also been in the creative industry for most of his career. So he came up with this amazing idea of getting Sherlock Holmes stories into the hands of artists so that they could create pieces of work from it. Now, the authors don't know who's painted their art, so if you can not say what it's called, that'd be great, Niz, because otherwise the author will know. Fantastic. But we've put a little slither of the painting here on the left-hand side here, and it's got the full painting is very compelling. The face is really quite a beautiful and haunting kind of face. What was it like painting this from a story?
It was a really exciting project for me. I had been talking back and forth with Phil about doing it, and it really piqued my interest from the beginning. But as soon as I read the story, I had ideas about what I wanted to do, and it came together pretty quickly. I was very inspired to do it. So I couldn't wait to paint it, I was very excited to do it.
Fantastic. And had you had much dealings with Sherlock Holmes before?
Not particularly.
Yeah. So you were quite new to it. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, we've had quite a few of the artists that knew Sherlock Holmes very well and had read some stories, and then there's a bunch of people that have come to it very, very new. So just a little bit about the first edition, which we're currently working on. The first book is complete. We've got 15 artists and 15 authors in that first West Palm Beach edition. All of the art is going to come together in the high-end gallery called the Anne Norton Sculpture Gardens. And the gallery launches on the 9th of May. And it will be exhibited for a couple of weeks. And then there'll be a big event on the 25th of May, which will be an event near London, where we're going to be having a big Sherlock Holmes event, and we're going to cut live using Zoom video to the gallery and meet some of the artists and some of the authors. And we plan to do the same thing with the USA edition as well in the fall. So the same format where all the art will come together in one gallery, and then we'll have a nice exhibition of that. So we're really excited, and thank you so much for doing the interview so early.
Thank you.
And your piece of art is really beautiful. And I really hope that we can meet up at the launch in the fall.
Yeah, likewise.
And I look forward to seeing you in the States soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.